Thanks for joining us for video number 2. If you enjoyed video number 1, you're getting your inbox very clear, but you might be wondering, why are some ingredient sales reps able to get their tasks done while others are trying desperately to find them? Why are some ingredient sales reps constantly identifying and adding value to relationships at their accounts, while other sales reps are frustrated that their accounts won't return their phone calls? Why are some ingredient sales reps confidently growing their territory exponentially, while other sales reps are growing, but they're not confident about how they're growing? My name is Sico Rodriguez, and I'm the founder of Ingredient Sales University, and previously a successful ingredient sales rep who grew his territory by 38 million in less than 4 years. Welcome to video number 2 of the series entitled The Journey to Exponential Ingredient Sales Growth. In the first video, you experienced the freedom from distraction. If you watched and implemented that first video, you probably feel amazing. Watching your inbox get clear and having a big list of action items sitting in a folder called the action folder, it probably feels fantastic compared to looking at a full inbox. In this second video, you're going to discover a system for managing all of those actions. Can you imagine? This is going to immediately help you manage all of those actions, not just in a complicated way, but with ease. Once you start down this path, you'll begin experiencing massive momentum and energy. So if you're a new sales rep and you aren't getting serious momentum, or maybe you're a veteran sales rep that really isn't able to manage more opportunities than just a few dozen, well, stick with me, because you're going to discover why visionary ingredient sales reps can get massive momentum by managing all of their actions in projects and tasks and calendars, and why it's critical that you get all of those actions managed effectively right now. Well, before we dig into this video, I got to warn you about something that's critically important. And not paying attention to this will virtually guarantee that your actions become cluttered messes and that your action folder becomes as bad as your previous inbox. You must avoid thinking you just need a technology to fix all of your action problems. Technology is extremely powerful, but the major limit is trusting it without having a process. Without a process and a clear purpose of using the technology, it can cause more pain than help. Imagine a 4-year-old driving a Ferrari. A lot of power, but he doesn't know the process to manage it well. Imagine all of your tasks being in the right place at the right time, where you can see them when you need them. Imagine having your work with all of your opportunities instead of having to go into 3 or 4 different systems. Imagine not having to create a new Excel spreadsheet like most ingredient sales reps do to manage all of their projects and activities. It can be exhausting. I'm sure you'll agree, trying to gain serious momentum isn't always as simple as a lot of people say. It comes with its challenges. You probably feel like no one at your company understands the challenges of really doing everything you have to do. It's not just opportunities you have to manage, it's also the hundreds of little tasks that steal you away from actually getting progress on your sales process or even getting your accounts to meet with you. Well, that's why in this video, I'm going to demystify the entire process of gaining massive momentum through action completion. This is going to save you a ton of frustration, and it's going to help you massively move forward in momentum. So this second video, I'm going to share a process I've developed after years of trial and error, and probably a lot more error than trial. It's called the Ingredient Sales Rep Action Management Process. This process will serve as a tremendous resource for you to eliminate confusion about what you need to do next in your day or in your quarter. And you'll be able to identify your biggest opportunities so you're not distracted by all the little things that get in your way. Maybe you're just getting started as an ingredient sales rep, or you've been an ingredient sales rep for 20 years, but you want so much more momentum. Either way, you're in the right place. Because after this video, you're going to be moving projects and actions forward like you never imagined. I developed this framework because I saw so many ingredient sales reps who wanted to experience exponential ingredient sales, but they were totally sidetracked in managing their projects and tasks. They were actually limited. They hit a ceiling that they couldn't break through. One example was a sales rep that just a couple of years into the business was trying to get more action items done, but was constantly exhausted. And the reason why, because they weren't clear about what the next action item was. Their inbox was clear, but they weren't. Before they knew the ingredient sales management process to manage all their actions, they were lost. Well, then I saw an ingredient sales rep who handled technical sales for 15 years, trying to build momentum, but totally struggling because they didn't have the ingredient sales rep action management process in place. I could go on, but I know that people in the ingredient world need clarity, because in full transparency, that was my story. You know, before I became an ingredient sales rep, I was managing all sorts of projects in all sorts of different ways. And I thought I needed a new technology and I needed a new tool or process. And I didn't need a new process, I just didn't know what it was. And so I found myself constantly frustrated about what was working and what wasn't. Well, when I developed this process, it allowed me to be extremely clear in all of my opportunities. And I was growing my business so exponentially, my company actually asked me to train our sales team. Now I want you to know that you can manage all of your action items by organizing your processes using 3 simple tools you already have in place. So we have to start with the actions that are the most simple. The actions that are the most simple are not the ones that you have to necessarily take right now, but if you have those, you can start with those. But the ones I want to start with are the ones that you have to do later at a specific date. What you might not know about your email system is that it can actually take, through drag and drop, an email and drop it right into your calendar. Now, the reason I do that is only for action items that specifically have a targeted date that they need to be done by, and the action involves other people. If it's just a task that needs to be done with no specific date, we'll get to those in a moment. So now that you've dragged an action item that has a targeted date into your calendar, you can create a time and a date that it's going to be done by with other people, hopefully in a meeting or in a group call, and that way you're getting that action completed. I'll give you an example. If you're sitting in your action folder and you see that your customer attached some items, some questions that they had, you know that they want a meeting to happen in 2 weeks from today. You can take that item, move it over into the calendar, and it will populate in that calendar immediately. The cool thing is it'll drag all the questions that they had with it. And it'll also include an invite that will drag everybody's name that's in the email so that they get invited to your event. It speeds up your organization of that meeting request very quickly. It also brings those attachments, if you do it right, into that calendar invite so everybody's looking at the same material. Using your calendar for action items is phenomenal, but it has to be very clear. These are only action items that are due on a specific date. Now, let's move to your opportunities. Your opportunities are your lifeblood, because if you don't have opportunities in your pipeline, it's kind of difficult to know where your sales are going to grow. Now, I don't want to discount the fact that organic sales of existing business is happening on a regular basis. However, new opportunities or projects are the ones that are going to transform your business exponentially. So I want to take those projects and I want to break down how we manage them really well. Most of you use Outlook, some of you use Gmail. I'm not going to deal with Gmail in this video, but I want to deal with Outlook, and project management. So let's start with a simple idea that all of your projects fall into some simple categories. Those categories you have to define, but I'll give you some examples that I used to use when I was an ingredient sales rep. The first category was any opportunity that dealt with a particular ingredient. The second way that I would categorize items was any opportunity that dealt with my biggest accounts. And so I had categories inside of Outlook, tasks or to-dos that represented all of the products that I sold that dealt with 90% of my business and each of my accounts. So I'll give you an example. I sold probiotics, and I would have a category for each of the major probiotics that I was selling to my customers. And so all you have to do is create a category inside of the Outlook to-dos and begin the process of establishing which categories you're going to focus on. What this will do is allow you to see each project based on major categories. There's one more category that I realized ingredient sales reps needed that I never took advantage of, but I want to tell you about. This category is known as your top 80%. Now, that category of top 80%, it's going to give you a ton of focus so that you realize 80% of my revenue is coming from these accounts. And when you categorize your tasks and opportunities and projects, you will automatically go to that top 80% to see what needs to be done next. It dramatically focuses your attention so you're not distracted with the smaller accounts or the accounts that have nothing going on just yet. What about tasks? Well, task management is very similar to project management in Outlook. You can drag your email that has a task in it right into a to-do action item. And that way, if it doesn't have a date associated with it, you can do it when you have time available. So that's the simplicity of setting up your processing of action items. First, you have your calendared items that have a specific date. You have your projects organized by categories, the two major categories being products or customers, and of course your top 80%. And then you have your tasks. These tasks are the little things that you have to get done to build momentum on some of your projects, or they're internal tasks that you have to do for your company. Well, the process of clearing your action folder is one that can massively help you build momentum, and that's what I hope you'll see. We're going to give you a little glimpse of exactly how to do everything I talked about in a video clip that'll be attached to your email right after this video. Now that you can see a little bit more about how organizing can happen with your action items, I want to start developing some of the other keys, really the final key of exponential ingredient sales growth. It's the final step before you get on to the bigger journey. And that's happening in video number 3. Hands down, what you've learned today, is the most important key to your growth thus far, because you've gotten rid of distractions and now you have momentum. But in order to grow to the next level, you've got to engage with video number 3. Video number 3 is all about the freedom of value creation. Now that you have your distractions managed really effectively, and you have your tasks, your action items, building momentum, helping you grow exponentially through clarified action steps for each project, each opportunity. Now the question is, how do you add value? Well, we're going to deal with that in this next video. So I hope you'll join me where we talk about the freedom of value creation. But before you go, I want to hear your challenges with managing your tasks and projects. If you felt like something was unclear, let us know. We want to hear about it. We want to help you get to that next level of momentum that you were supposed to get in video number 2. And if you didn't, please let us know. You can share this video with your friends by sending them the URL, or you can link it on your LinkedIn profile, letting everybody in your community know all about this video and what it did for you. Thanks for joining us, and don't miss video number 3, where you will learn how to create exponential value for your accounts.